What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the Ghouls Gaming and Tech channel. We have college football 26 right here. We got early access because we did pre-order the MVP bundle, which comes with college 26 and Madden 26. So we have the game right here. I've been waiting all day to play this bad boy, and I just got home. So we're going to hop into, as usual, the best visual and gameplay settings for this game. You guys, if you've been following this channel, you know I usually do these videos for any huge game launch, and this game is no different. And this game, you want to pay attention to some particular points because you're going to want to optimize your gameplay. Some things that were annoying in College Football 25, they directly address some of those things in this game. So some things they didn't as well. So just take it with a grain of salt. But anyways, as I give a disclosure in any of these videos, if you like a particular setting, you do not have to change every single setting to what I'm going to show you. If certain things work better for you, just because of your playstyle, then go with that. You do not, this is not the end all be all, is what I'm trying to say. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It's definitely appreciated. And if you're new or returning, make sure you hit that like button. It's appreciated as well. It's the best way that I and YouTube knows you guys enjoy this kind of content. And if you want to become a member, be sure to join the channel. Be a part of one of the most electric channels on YouTube. So without any further ado, we're going to hop in it right now. I had to turn down the menu music because the last time I did this video for College Football 25, the band music was copyrighted. Believe it or not, I'm going to be talking through this. Bear with me. So when you load up the game, this is the main menu. Go to home and then go over to settings, and then you want to go to game settings right here. So this is supposedly a PS5 Pro enhanced game. So usually with visual settings for enhanced game, it usually has those in the options in the settings. But for some reason, college football, and I'm assuming Madden will probably have the same thing, but for some reason it does not have an option to either put this game in pro mode, fidelity, performance, whatever the case is. It is an online element to this game, so I don't know why they don't have that option. So as far as some of the visual parts of it, just know that supposedly on paper, the pro enhancement of this game is already embedded into the actual game itself. I waste enough time. Anyways, let's get into these settings. So right here, you have game options. That's your first tab right here. So depending on whatever team you want to pick, you want to go to your team specific playbook if you care about it that much. And definitely if you're playing online, things like that. But outside of that, if you don't really care, just keep it to that individual team. Even teams, this comes off. Make sure to leave it off, because if you turn this on, as you can see right here, it says ensure any two teams are competitive by raising the player's rating of the lower rated team to compensate. That defeats kind of the whole point of there's some really good teams, there's some average teams, and there's some really bad teams. That kind of takes the whole element out of it, and that's pretty much the core of the college football experience. Make sure to leave that off just in case you're wondering what that does. As far as skill level, if you played any college football game previously or even the Madden, I'm pretty sure most of you guys will be okay with playing this on All-American. Again, this is specific to you and your skill level, but Heisman is a little bit OP in my opinion because they already made the computer and even some user elements play like crazy, insane. Like all these people are just 5-star, super the greatest, all #1 draft picks in NFL. That's not realistic. So I wouldn't recommend putting on Heisman unless you got it like that. Okay, but this part is for the average everyday person. I think you will be okay with All-American. Now, quarter length, I changed this because if you go into Road to Glory and things like that, depending on what you, even if you make yourself a 5-star blue chip, whatever recruit, you're not going to be in the game all the time. So if you want to maximize your stats and things like that, I think it default comes on like 5 minutes. I would change it to 15 minutes because obviously there's offense, there's defense. You're not going to be on the field all the time. So I would put that on 15 minutes. Play clock, obviously that's on. Accelerated clock, that's up to you if you wanted to speed it up when there's like a dead play or whatever, but I just left that off. Coin toss, I usually always go with receive. Definitely if you're a big Road to Glory person and you want to put points on the board first, definitely if you're playing an All-American or Heisman, I would go with receive, and then second choice is with the wind. Control scheme, that's fine. Wear and tear, I know some people are skeptical on it. I would just leave that on just because it adds more of a realistic experience when it comes to playing this game. If you turn it off, it's going to kind of throw off the game a little bit. It's going to seem a little bit less realistic than it actually is. So leave that on. Normal tackle impact, all of this stuff right here that's associated with wear and tear, leave that at 50%. Do you see a lot of injuries to your particular so if you're playing Road to Glory, do you see a lot of injuries when it comes to that? No, you do see some wear and tear, but if it's the same level up system that was in the last game, you should be able to refresh yourself after every game. But if you're playing online or against friends or just against the computer and you're using the entire team, whether you're playing Dynasty, whatever the case is, just a regular exhibition, then yeah, you might want to take some of this down because sometimes the game is prone to giving a lot of players a lot of injuries during the game. So again, disclosure on all this, it's all specific to you. So passing type, I think it came in originally like classic passing, but I would leave it on revamp passing because as you can see, you have to have some skill to use placement passing and placement and accuracy. Okay, so revamp, it kind of takes a little bit of that user ability, not much, but just a little bit away from you and kind of give you some automatic elements within that passing game, so you're not struggling to pass the ball when you're using the quarterback. But as you can see, it says placement enables visual targets to control the pass placement and power. This leaves accuracy to be determined by the player rating. So obviously, like I said, there's some great players, there's some good players, there's some not so good players. So if you're getting frustrated, and this could vary on many factors like the difficulty you have the game in, the team you're playing with, the player you're playing with, all this stuff could vary. So depending on how you play the game, how good your team is, how good that quarterback is, it's going to determine what passing type you want to put on here. So it says passing type placement. Again, you got to have some great accuracy for that, but it's determined by the player. Placement and accuracy enables a timing element. Keep in mind, a timing element for perfect accuracy on bullet passes on top of visual targets to control the pass placement and power. I only recommend that one for experienced people playing this game. There's some people who are supremely talented at playing this game. They're probably using that. You have your classic passing, but you have the revamp passing, which is more so for the general everyday player. It says classic passing controls that give more control of the arc of the pass, which is what I want, of the pass, with the ability to perfectly throw passes based on ratings and pass context. The player can take some power off of their throw to make more accurate passes. So, you know, that comes into play when you're throwing bullet passes, you're throwing a lob, or you just maybe throwing across the field in the opposite direction. Passing slowdown, I put this on slide. You can turn it off too, but I think this is a new element, so I kind of want to see what it looks like. I might end up leaving that off, but I just put it on slight for now. Pass lead increase. Now, there was an issue in College Football 25 where a lot of the passes, I say a lot, that's an understatement, probably 85% of the passes were underthrown, and it caused a lot of interceptions. So I wanted to increase that pass lead a little bit. Like I said, you can turn it to none, but I recommend put it on small just to fill it out, see how it is. It says extend the maximum amount of pass lead when precision passing in all types except placement. When using placement, this increases the amount of freeform pass lead. So we're using revamp. So if you go into revamped or anything besides precision or placement, you want some kind of slight pass lead. Reticle speed, it came on 7, but I put it on 10. It says choose the speed at which the placement reticle moves. Sometimes it moves too slow, so I just kicked it up 3 and put it on 10. That is fine. Catching AI wide receiver for user teams, cool, that's great. It says this setting decides if the AI would attempt a catch for a user controlled team if the user does not give input. So basically, if you don't do anything when you're playing on defense, this dictates what the AI wide receiver is going to do. So if it's super overthrown, now this could lead to some wonky animations depending on how bad the AI really wants the CPU to catch that ball. Tackle mechanics, the feedback, we leave all that stuff how it is default. Gameplay helpers, auto flip, defensive play call, I just left that on. Defensive ball hawk, again, One of the major issues in 25 was the defensive players on any team, didn't matter, were way too good for no reason. It says the user controlled defenders will auto move into position. So this is for the user. This is for us, for you guys. I would turn this on. User controlled defenders will auto move into position to play a catch when executing the catch mechanic while the ball is in the air. Warning, disabling this mechanic may cause user defenders to attack the ball in the air less aggressively. So this is for you, this is to help you out. So if the CPU, the AI is a little bit overpowered, you definitely want to have that on. Defensive heat seeker assist, leave that on. Window size, all this stuff, we're going to leave this as it is. Injuries, it defaults at 10. I did not change that. But yeah, all this stuff when it comes to player sliders, unless you want to cheat, leave it at 50. All right, next thing, we got crossplay, leave that on. Accessibility, this is just normal accessibility stuff. I'm not going to go through this because that menu narration will be annoying. Penalties, again, leave this at default. All of these are at 50% and on. This is just normal penalties in the game, nothing special. Player skill, again, everything at 50. You don't want to, unless, like I said, unless you want to cheat, you could change some of this stuff. But it kind of defeats the purpose, because if you put it in Heisman and you're finding out the gameplay is not exactly what you want, and then you end up changing some of these sliders, then that kind of defeats the purpose of you playing on Heisman. You might as well reduce your difficulty. Visual feedback, dynamic play call, leave that on. When set to on, the options in the play call show and hide based on skill level. So this is great. Makes it more realistic and more immersive. If you have a player who gets razzled under pressure, the stadium pulse and all that stuff, just more realistic for the immersion. So leave that on. Play call button layout, depending on, this is completely your preference, depending on how you normally switch up your play calls. The default one is fine, but if you have a specific combo that you like, you can switch that up as well. Previous play information, so this is good, leave that on. If you ran a play just then or previously and you find out it worked, or you want to try something different, leave that on. On-field visual feedback, on-field trainer, off. Defensive coverage visual assist, pass coverage visual assist. This could go on or off just depending on how much information you want on the field. So defensive pass coverage visual assist, it says enable or disable the instructional prompt for the defensive press mechanic and the on-field visual assist for pass coverage assignments when playing as a defender in pass coverage. So again, if you primarily play as a defensive player, or just when you're on defense, if you need a little bit extra visual aid to kind of help you realize where things are, turn this on. Where to go, turn this on. What coverage you need to be in or stick to, turn that on. Receiver visual assist, so this is the same thing as the defensive one, just helping the receiver know where to go, how to release off the line and things like that. Drive goals, dynasty, bottom line ticker, leave that on. Just a new element just to show at the bottom, just to show what other teams are doing, things like that. Coach tip. Pre-snap menu, player names, I put that to pre-snap only. It comes to always on, but I just changed it to pre-snap only because realistically you don't really need the player names once the ball snapped. Camera toggle, that's a great element right there. You can bring the camera close, a little bit further back, and a little bit further back than that. I use that setting all the time, so leave that on. Just depends on how much you want to see, basically your FOV, field of view on the field. So this, I think, is the most important tab, auto subs. I got subbed out so much during college football 25. It was very annoying. I did not like it, but now you can basically manually override, which is what it says, how you want the subs to work. So a good starting point, it comes on default. I would just put it to override and make the subs for every position normal. You want to keep them fresh? Do you want it to be normal, or do you want them to grind it out? Now, and then you can put custom as well. Now, no player is impenetrable unless you change those sliders. That is just normal. So, like I said, you can put it on normal. But if you want to keep them fresh, again, you're going to have more and more subs just depending on how much you're playing, how much you're getting the ball, how much you're getting hit. So you could potentially be subbed out a lot if you put it on override and keep fresh. And then grind it out. You're going to be more tired. You're more susceptible to wear and tear, injuries, things like that. So I wouldn't recommend grinding it out, but it just depends what kind of game you're going into, whether you're going to need that star player or not. But like I said, you can do custom. So I would say for every category, I switch from default to override and to normal for every category, every single one. I think I went all the way down. So yes, that is dependent on your position. And again, you have your manual sub right here, your ratio right here, quarterback sub out 60, but it's really realistically subbing out the QB is realistically pretty low. The starting QB usually starts damn near the whole game. So this is what you have right here. So the sub in and sub out, it should be technically the same. So I would put all these probably about 30. So that's pretty much the breakdown on the best visual and gameplay settings. Again, this video for the visuals is more so the visual feedback, not per se like ray tracing and HDR and pro mode and things like that. Supposedly it's already embedded into the game, so hopefully these settings help you guys out with just your overall gameplay, your play style, and just some visual settings. But also remember, with the visual stuff, you got to have a good monitor or TV to really see these graphics kind of pop. But yeah, should be running very smooth, nice visual, 60 frames, all that good stuff. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully this was helpful. Let me know down in the comments below. I really appreciate it. And as always, I love you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.